Hi, this recording is a brief summary of the fourth PowerPoint for this week, Francis, Eradicating or Ending Poverty. The first thing to notice in the title slide is a picture of Francis's habit, or the garment he wore after his conversion until his death. Note how ragged and patched it is. This is very significant for thinking through this PowerPoint. You want to try to get the sense that Francis believed it was important to serve others in a holy way to alleviate or lessen their suffering. The second slide gives you a definition for this, sancta operatio. Sancta operatio, that's Latin, or working in a holy manner. This means that we're called to serve others with mercy, courtesy, humility, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, just as it says in the Bible. So for Franciscans, it's important not only that one serves others, but the way one serves them. If we serve with resentment or anger or without respecting the dignity of the person, we failed. Being courteous and humble were all important to Francis, and they should be to us. Imagine how hard it is to ask someone, other than your parents or grandparents, for something you desperately need, such as food or some money to get you through. Imagine you have a child to feed and don't have enough money to make it through the month. Francis knew what this was like. Jesus did too. Francis believed that Jesus is calling each of us to be compassionate and gentle so that we don't hurt anyone who takes the courage to ask us for what they need. The third slide shows you what serving in a holy manner meant to St. Francis. Everyone has probably heard that we are all children of God, Jesus' brothers and sisters, and even that some people marry God. Being a mother of Christ, though, is an idea that Francis developed from reading the Bible. As you can see on slide 4 here, Francis wrote, "We are mothers. When we carry him in our heart and body through divine love and a pure and sincere conscience, and we give birth to him through his holy manner of working, sancta operatio, which should shine before others as an example." Francis developed the idea of being a mother from the biblical texts of 1 Corinthians and the Gospel according to Matthew. For Francis, being a mother of Christ was a very serious and profound call from God. When one is a mother of Christ, one gives Christ a place to enter into the world. You've heard the phrase, we're all God's hands in the world. Well, for Francis's understanding of this was that it's like this, but go a bit further. Francis prayed to give birth to Christ, to allow Christ to inhabit his body. So on slide 6, when he recounts his experience of God, he ends by saying how holy and how loving, pleasing, humble, peaceful, sweet, lovable, and desirable to have such a brother and such a son, our Lord Jesus Christ. Slide 7 points out that marrying Lady Poverty was the main way Francis lived his vocation as a mother of Christ. Lady Poverty is a metaphor for poor humanity or serving lepers. Francis married Lady Poverty, or all those who are poor, abandoned, rejected, unwelcome. As slide 8 indicates, Francis did this because he wanted to give birth to Jesus for our world. Jesus had embraced the poor 1,000 years before Francis. Now it was his turn. Slide 9 makes clear that Francis believed he had found something wonderful. There's really no way to make sense of who Francis is if you don't get this bottom line insight. Francis was madly in love with God. Imagine being madly in love with someone. You'll do anything for them. You care so deeply about them. Perhaps you've fallen in love and you do kind of crazy things, or at least to others they are, but not to you. And that's Francis's understanding of God. Because Francis had chosen to become a mother of Christ in the world, and Christ had united himself to the poor and all of us rejected humanity in caring for the poor, especially the outcasts and lepers of his time. Francis gave birth to Christ. Slide 10 recounts a very famous text that Francis wrote. It's from his testament. It makes clear that Francis knew he had changed so much that he, quote unquote, left the world. Slide 11 explains what it means to leave the world. It's all about giving up power and prestige and entering a world where the standard is God's. That is, the standard is God's mercy. Slides 12 through 23, oh my, I lost it. Hold on. Slides 12 through 23 explain what it would mean if you were to choose to follow Francis and Jesus's way. That is, how to leave the world or to live simply. Then you will see a few slides that ask you to reflect. The last slide puts forward 5 dimensions of being a mother of Christ. I find the pictures here comforting. One recounts the last thing Francis said right before he died. I did what was mine to do. May Christ teach you what is yours to do. Francis would never dictate how anyone else should live or what she should do. That's between God and the person. So while I will never be able to be as good as St. Francis, I can listen to God and do my little part in the world. Thank you for listening and have a delightful day.